Ali?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. Awesome. So, very good evening to all the beautiful souls who are gathered here once again. 73 episodes. It's an amazing journey. Every step has been really getting excited because I want to complete 100 episodes. That's my focus, and I'll be doing it. Anyway, another 2 episodes, I think I'll be completing the Platinum Jubilee. That's another big achievement. Thank you very much. I think because of every one of you that I'm able to do this. And today's topic is a little a deeper and a bigger subject, but I feel I have concised to a little whatever best possible so that you can understand how it really affects your health. As many times we don't look into this particular part, which is called an inflammation, and the consequences what we see is not being told for the reason that many times we are trained to look into a disease. Now, when you look into a disease, of course, we look into the reasons why you got a disease, and then, of course, we will link a lot of things to your disease and then say, okay, now you have the disease. And what would be the treatment? Of course, we have a standard protocol in our medical profession, and then we just give you a prescribe you a medication for that particular ailment or a disease, whatever you're going through. But there are a lot of situation which is happening behind the screen in spite of taking all those medication very sincerely, following the diet and other things. Still a person goes through certain times. I think most of it will be around 60 to 70% of the people who would have had, probably, just as an example, if you're having diabetes for 10 years, now after 10 to 15 years you will add on with the disease something called hypertension, where your blood pressure will be slightly high. That will be an additional bonus you'll be getting when you have diabetes. And along with that, the other diseases like your heart problems will be another added addition. And along with that, of course, losing of eyesight, losing of your limbs, and kidney issues. And there are a lot of things. And cancer will be another major ailment which today we all are facing. Now, whatever comes, we have to see everything as a holistic approach. That means we cannot just pinpoint one particular thing and then look into it and then find a solution. We rather go into a little broad spectrum. I would say let's look into a 360 degrees and then see where all. Now, here also a little reminder to every one of you that whatever we say or we share, it's not that it's a rule of thumb wherein everybody follows the same and everybody will get the same benefit. Some people may instantly get some benefit. Some people may have to add on a little other methodology so that you can get some benefits. So ultimately, it is you who have to try and then start working on your specific body issues, and then slowly start finding solutions. We all can find solutions by looking into it. It's basically your enthusiasm to get into the wellness aspect of your health. Definitely you will be able to get into that. Saying that, one of my humble requests to every one of you would be is we would have heard of a lot of self-realization, and there are a lot of other realizations in the world, but my always enthusiasm and my always aim and my always looking for will be a cellular realization, for the reason that one cell is basically a big universe by itself. So in that way, if I can make one cell a beautiful healthy cell, definitely the other cells also will automatically happen, and thereby we all can have a 70% of cellular health. If it is good enough, I think we can live a healthy lifestyle. The remaining 30%, of course, we all need to balance with a lot of things, and then we may face situations and we may face diseases, and at that time it is still okay for us because 70% of our health has been good, so we would be intelligent enough to handle our disease situation also much more easily, because we would have walked the path. See, always when you walk a path, definitely it will be much more easier. Like, for example, if a person with cancer who has gone for radiotherapy many times, and of course the pain they go through is it's quite tormenting, but the next time when they go inside, they know what the doctors are going to do and how the procedure is going to, and what are the side effects, what are the things they can expect, all they will know. So why is that? Because already your mind knows what is the next. So here what happens is when you start exposing yourself to health, wellness, and cellular realization, what happens is your body automatically tends to balance itself into a wellness area. So thereby you can prevent a lot of diseases coming into you. And if by chance there is a disease coming in, also you would be able to handle it. See, handling of situation is what is all our capability. As a human being, we all can handle any situation under the sun. That's what is we are all experts in. But many times we don't execute our full intelligence. We don't execute our full potential for the reason we never put in efforts to learn. Learning is a very, very important process in every human life. Learning, upgrading yourself with the knowledge, upgrading with the required amount of information is very, very important. And slowly you get adapted to those newer knowledge, newer information. Like such of those who are all using Terra's machine for the past 3 years, I think you will be well versed with the device, and then by now you will be exactly knowing how well it is resonating your water and how well the taste of the water, how good it is. All these you will know because you've been using it left and right. And that is where we all need to practice a certain kind of upliftment every day. That means every day you need to start learning something very new. And that's the reason that every time I come into our Zoom, I would like to give something new, something different, so that it triggers your brain so that you will be able to look from a different perspective and thereby find a solution. See, ultimately, it is you who have to find a solution for whatever situation you are going through. So in that way, it's a very, very general phenomena I'm talking about now. Anything produces that which produces a little bit of friction, there is a heat, definitely it produces. Now, after the heat is produces, definitely there is an element of something called fire. Now, fire is something which can burn uh, on one side. On the other side, there is something new also can be looked into, because once everything burns, you can start looking at life into a newer life. So there are a lot of good benefits. So the five elements of nature here on planet Earth are something in which water and our fire element are little fiery, and sometimes it is very, very dangerous, wherein we do face a lot of problems if the fire is raging. And on the other side, if the water is like a tsunami, if it comes in, we can't control it. And without fire also, we still cannot move forward in this life. Now just imagine there is no sunlight at all, then how are we going to grow plants? There are a lot of difficult times. If there is no water, how are you going to grow plants? Even there also we will have a lot of difficulties. Now everything needs to be in a state of balance, and that is when you will be able to lead a very beautiful life. Saying that, now of course, whenever there is a fire, what do? We just call the fire engine, and then these guys come down and put off the fire. It's we think it's very simple, but of course the training what these guys go through and then come down to put on the fire is also quite a very, very risky, dangerous, but they are all wonderful souls who are all helping us in coming and putting on the fire. Now this is the outside fire we are talking about. Now what happens? I think this picture depicts a lot of information about what is happening. This guy is very coolly lying down, and there is another person coming and letting that the firecracker down there. Now, like that, most of us are engrossed in our own daily routine that we don't even realize that there are a lot of small, small sparks which is happening inside our body, inside our mind, and inside our journey of life, which definitely affects our health. At the end of the day, when you look at the food what we eat, the lifestyle what we have, the sleeping patterns, the mindset what you have in your life, it can be little. For example, you just get angry today, maybe one time, it's still okay. But just imagine you go on getting angry maybe 15, 20 times in the whole day. What happens is your mood will be totally screwed up. And then ultimately what happens? You will start looking at, with the same anger, you will start looking at finding fault. You will start looking at the problems of life. Now, this is what happens naturally to every human being. Now, that doesn't mean that we should never get angry, or that doesn't mean that we should never put our mind off. Yes, it is a natural phenomena and it's one of the emotions. But like the small spark, the lot of things going on inside your body, especially for youngsters, I would request you and let you know that there are a lot of good things happen, which can, you can put a proper foundation when you're as an youngster between 20 to 30 years. You can put a lot of beautiful. But what happens is many of the youngsters at this age are the one who are focusing on their studies, focusing on the job, focusing on earning more money, focusing on buying new cars, buying a house, all this is all beautiful. As an youngster, yes, we all need to do that. But at the same time, what kind of food do you eat? What time do you eat? What time do you sleep? What is your resting period? How happy are you? All this plays a very, very important role. But many of us do all the wrong things under the sun when we are young. And when we become, maybe when you're reaching the age of 50 plus, and then only when start getting a disease or some problem happens, that is when you start opening your eyes and then you think, okay, fine, now I'm going to change. But I don't think just because you're going to change at that moment of life, things are going to definitely change. It will never change, because definitely this situation is going to be a difficult situation, because you have piled up all the problems in the form of droplets, and it has collected, and then it manifests in the form of a disease, or in the manifestation in the form of a discomfort, or maybe even it could be a cancer, or it could be a stroke, whatever the situation is, but you will face it at a later part. So please, for heaven's sake, do not take life for granted for today. Every day plays a very, very important role. What is your future lies in what you do today. It's not what you did yesterday. Yesterday you did, and today you may repay it today. Yes, there might be some situation, it's still okay. If you have done something wrong yesterday, better change it today, so that at least the seed what you put today, you should be able to create a very beautiful future. So future doesn't happen just like that. Every day what you do in your life is what is your future. And in that way, health plays such an important role that there is no compromise, there is no substitute, and there is no alternative way for you. So do not take things for granted. And if you do not work for wellness today, the illness will make you to pay for the illness at that time, which will be 10 to 20 times more than what you are spending for your day to day today. So it's better to, spend some extra funds for our healthy food, maybe some spare time for our own self, some for meditation, for breathing exercise. All these we need to do. So for this, you need to be selfish. In fact, the word selfish means people will think that according to the dictionary, everything you do it for yourself. So I just changed the word from selfish to self-care. You need to self-care yourself, so that there are a lot of good things in the future waiting for you, and then you can start enjoying those benefits. But at the same time, today is the time you need to enjoy. Why do you need to enjoy? Like, you save everything and then you say you want to enjoy when you're 50, 60 years. Yes, it's a beautiful concept, but who knows, at that time you might have some major diseases and major issues. Then you're supposed to take care of your physical body that time. But right now you're a healthy individual. So at the same time, what you need to do, you need to plan your journey of life today. Now, when your body is in inflammation, what happens? Definitely, there is a fire element which is already lit inside your body. We have 50 trillion cells. I repeatedly tell you, we have 50 trillion cells. Now, just imagine one cell is on fire, it's still okay, no issues. Two cells, no issues. 100 cells, no issues. 100,000 cells, there is a little issue. 200,000 cells, yes, more issues. If it is 1 million cells, definitely it is an issue. So like this, if the fire element and the inflammation is expanded to more number of cells, that is when you will start facing problems. Now, many of you would have noticed, after you took the vaccination, many of us, including me, what is happening is there are unexplained aches and pains I am getting. It is happening. Now, what is the reason? I also don't know. Definitely, I also don't know. I think there is some inflammation going on. Why? Because when you put on vaccination, definitely the vaccination is a foreign body going inside your body. Once it goes inside your body thinks it's something from outside. What should I do? It starts reacting to it. Of course, after some time, it gets used to it. It becomes an adaptive immunity. That is okay. Thereby, what they say is, if at all you have taken a vaccination for a particular organism, for example, you're taken for smallpox or chickenpox or maybe diphtheria. Now, what happens after taking the vaccination? Next time when the organism comes inside your body recognizes that particular organism, it will kill the organism. It will attack and kill the organism. Now, does the same thing happen for you and me when we have taken vaccination for COVID? What has happened? Are you not exposed to COVID? Yes, we are still. Now, what is happening is even the organisms are very, very smart. They actually mutate and then, they manifest in a different form. Now, of course, vaccination is given for one particular strain of organism. But when the organism starts multiplying and then they start coming and camouflaging us, and then it comes inside our body, definitely our body is not prepared to face those. On the one side, it is definitely not an easy task for our own body to face a new organism every day, even though it is facing thousands of organisms. But still, if you are a healthy individual, that means your food habits, your mindset, I think your day to day, everything is perfectly fine. That is how you are able to be a healthy individual. Now, for you to be a healthy individual, there are a lot of things you need to do. Now, when your body is inflammation or fire, there is a lot of problems you will face. Now, what happens when these small situations happen? Now, what happens? We finally land up in a hospital. Now, recently, just 4 days ago, this particular situation happened. This boy is a 42-year-old boy, and I know him since I think 5 6 years old boy. He's 42 years now, and every day without fail, he will send me a morning message saying, "Good morning, uncle. How are you, uncle? How is auntie?" Now, this is a message I've been receiving for a past many number of years. 27th of last month was the last message. I also called up and spoke to him. And after that, I didn't speak to him because I was busy. And suddenly on the 6th of October, this is all the latest, 6th of October, his father is calling me and telling me, "Sir, I lost my son Matthew." I said, "What?" He said, "I lost my son Matthew." I said, "What happened?" Then he said, on the 3rd of October, this guy had a chest pain and they took him to the hospital, admitted him. Then he got stabilized on the 4th. 5th, they decided, okay, fine, let us do an angiogram so that to see if there is any blockage, and then we decide what to be done. So they decided to an angiogram. They took him to the angiogram laboratory, and then they put him on the thing and they did the procedure. While doing the procedure, he had a massive attack and he died on the table there only. They couldn't revive him. Now you tell me, 42 years man, he didn't have any problem before. He never had any symptoms. He never told anybody any issues, and quite a healthy guy, very active guy. Now, why did he get this massive attack? Now, what exactly would have happened? If you ask me, I would say yes, definitely he would have ignored his health right from the beginning. Either in his he was a very busy person, so probably the stressful. He was running a school, so probably the stress factor, the untimely food habits, or a lot of factors would have played a very very important role. So what I try to show you here is we all land up in the hospital with different diseases and manifestation on one fine day. Now, do you think that it is wise for us to get into the hospital? Now, whatever I am saying is, see, even as of today, I've been very healthy. Very rarely I go to hospital. It doesn't mean that in the future I may not go to hospital. If a situation comes, I will go. It is still fine. But what I'm telling you is, why not we look life from a different angle and prevent the disease from coming? Why should you be an ignorant human being? You can be an aware human being wherein you understand what is happening and then start changing according to the requirement, and never have an apathetic attitude towards your body. This is what I see in many of the people, where they have a very very apathetic attitude towards their own body and their own journey of life. They will do everything for the whole world, but for themselves they don't do anything. But finally, let me tell you, you land up in the hospital like this, and finally what happens? Doctors, how much they can help you? Also, they will help you to an extent. Of course, once you're on the table, something goes wrong, you die, that's it. Now you want to file a case, you want to claim all this can happen. But Once gone is gone. You cannot get back your life. So in that way, whenever we are living, we need to be very, very careful and we need to understand. Now, in that way, today's subject is a very, very interesting subject. It's a very deep subject, but I would try to explain you much more easily. Now, what is inflammation? Basically, what we are talking is inflammation is a redness, swelling, or feeling of heat in that particular area of body. And normally, it's a protective mechanism of the body towards an injury or a disease. And it can be an irritation of like for example, you put a needle inside a thorn, probably it is stuck inside your soul. After some time you will see that the thorn will become infected, by because your own body will start trying to throw that particular thorn out, but it won't be able to because this particular thorn is already stuck in the soul. So that is when doctors will come, they will open it up and take out the thorn and then remove the pus and then clean it up. Now these are all a natural body mechanism. Now many times, okay, inflammation inside our cells and tissues can't be seen. That is a problem. But there is something you all can do is you can do a blood test and then definitely we can find out if there is an inflammation happening at the blood level, you can see or not. Like for example, you can do a CRP, blood test CRP, you can do a homocysteine level, even vitamin D3 levels. If you can get your vitamin D3 and if it is very low, definitely there will be inflammatory process going on inside your body. Now imagine if you have a deficiency of omega-3, which also we can do a blood test and get it done and know how much is your omega-3. If your omega-3 is less, definitely there is an inflammation going on in your body. So inflammation going on means automatically there will be some problem inside. Only thing is there is no name of the disease which the doctors can give you, but inflammation is going on. So now what happens is whenever your body encounters an offending agent like a virus, bacteria, it suffers an injury and then activates your immune system. And it is a natural process. Now, when there is an inflammation or the immune system opens up, automatically it will be the first responder, and then automatically there will be an inflammatory process, and then try to remove that particular virus or organism. They will try to remove it out. That is how your body naturally goes on reacting. Now, many of you would have seen, especially like allergic situation, like allergic rhinitis, your bronchial asthma, all these you're going exposing yourself to the dust every day. And finally what happens, of course we as doctors will give you some antihistamine, sometimes we give you a nasal spray or even a puff for you to breathe better. All these are all only temporary solution. My question is, how are you going to rectify this problem? You need to avoid the dust. Now how are you going to avoid the dust? The one of the simplest mechanism you and I can do is you can buy a beautiful, a good quality air purifier for your bedroom, and then you can install it, and then so that at least the 8 hours of sleep, whatever you have in your bedroom, can be a very, you can inhale the pure air, isn't it? Of course, some of intelligent beings like out there, you will be asking me, doctor, you're telling us inside the bedroom is still okay. How about going outside? See, outside, of course, that's where you're supposed to wear a mask and go. That is, see, outside you cannot make a purified air out. It is highly impossible. But definitely in the next 50 to 70 years, we all will be wearing some huge mask, like, like a robot, and then carrying oxygen behind our back, and then inhaling the oxygen and going, because that will the amount of pollution outside. So whatever said and done, whatever situation is, look for a solution. Look for a solution. Very, very important is when you look for a solution, things will be much more easier. Now, in this inflammation, you can just categorize into acute inflammation and a chronic. Chronic is a long-term one. Acute is something immediate. Now, for example, there is a pinprick, and then after 2 3 days, you see a lot of pus, or there is an infection in there, or you should go to the hospital or to a clinic wherein the doctor will definitely open it up. But that is an acute emergency wherein you need to, like for example, you have a sudden chest pain. The only thing you can do is you have to go to the nearest hospital so that they know what to do, because that's the only way we can help you in an emergency. But you can avoid an emergency happening by taking all the preventive measures. But in spite of that, chances are there you may face a situation where you need to go to, it's still fine. Now, coming to the chronic, now this is where most of us go unnoticed, and most of us today, you and me, a lot of people are facing this problem is because of the chronic inflammation happening inside your body, which goes unnoticed, and it only manifests in a long time. Unexplained pain, unexplained joint pain, unexplained tiredness, unexplained lethargy, all this will be there. Now, even then, what happens? You go to hospital and you tell the doctor, doctor, I feel very tired, la doctor. Of course, the doctor will do, okay, fine, we'll do all the blood tests. They will do all the blood tests. And invariably, you will notice that many of us will have the cholesterol little on the higher side. Now, this is a very important situation you need to understand. Whenever there is a high cholesterol inside your body, forget about the genetic causes. Because of genetic, your cholesterol is very high. That is a different situation. For a normal human being, if at all, if there is a cholesterol high in your blood level, one of the main reason is inflammation. If the inflammation goes down, automatically your cholesterol will go down. Now, this is where as doctors, we will come in and we will give you some medication to bring down your cholesterol level. But as long as you're taking the medication, your cholesterol will be low. It will show low in the blood, but the inflammation is still there in your body. So the moment you stop the medication, after some time, 3-4 months, once again the cholesterol will go up, and you go do the blood test, and the doctor will ask you, hey, what did you do? Why is your cholesterol very high? I give you the medication. Are you taking or not? Then you will coolly say, yes, doctor, I stopped taking it, and then probably I took some herbal medicine, I took some Ayurvedic medicine or homeopathy. Then the doctor will say, this is where we are all very careful, and we tell you not to take any Ayurvedic or homeopathic medication. Why? Because it doesn't work. Now, this is where you need to understand that it is not that the homeopathy doesn't work or the Ayurvedic doesn't work. Everything has its own beautiful mechanism of action. You need to understand what can act when. That is when you need to take appropriate measures so that that particular whatever, even if you're continuously taking Ayurvedic medication, you have to see to that there are a lot of other food habits you need to control. There are a lot of things you need to do. Just by taking Ayurvedic medicine doesn't mean that you're going to get out of the inflammation. It is one of the methods of lowering your medication. In that way, if you see, turmeric plays a very important role as an anti-inflammatory, and curcumin, which is one of the ingredient taken out from the curcumin, is one of the ingredient taken out from the turmeric, is a very good anti-inflammatory. So what they say is it's very good for cancer. But what I would say is the moment inflammation comes down, the effect on it on the cancer cell also will automatically go down, so that the cancer cells also will reduce. So here our main aim and target is bringing down the inflammation. So you should bring down the inflammation. That should be your aim. Now, there are a lot of diseases we can correlate and say, okay, this is there's a lot of inflammation happening, and that is where your disease is not getting controlled. Now, in that way, you can do a blood test like your CRP, you can get your homocysteine done, you can get your vitamin D3, you can get your omega-3 levels. Like that, we can always do certain things and then find out what is the situation exactly happening inside. But whenever a disease is not under control, let's assume that you're diabetes. There is one thing the diabetes will cheat you is you have to be a little careful here is number one, your blood sugars will be very normal. But there are some problems which is happening inside your blood, inside your blood vessels, inside your tissues, inside your cells, and suddenly one fine day you'll have a problem. Now, why is that? Your sugar level was under control. Then why is that you had a problem wherein you need to, amputate your legs, you lose your eyesight, all these? Why does it happen? Even though your sugar level was normal. So you need to understand that over a period of time, there is a lot of damages happening inside your vessel, inside your cell, inside your tissues. It's because of the disease. Now, on the other hand, it is not just diabetes alone we are talking about. You may have diabetes, but how is your mindset? What kind of mindset are you? How happy are you? How do you handle your day-to-day life? What kind of food do you eat? What kind of alkaline food do you consume? So in that way, if you look at the diseases, I can go on listing as many as possible, but simple is your cardiovascular heart diseases, your blood pressure, rheumatoid arthritis, then your systemic lupus erythematosus diseases, bronchial asthma, Alzheimer's, Some cancers have been related with inflammation. High cholesterol, atherosclerosis, then inflammatory tumors, pharyngitis, your sore throat, laryngitis, your voice box infection, sinus infection, ear infection. All these are all inflammation because of the inflammation, because of the viruses. Now you would have seen a lot of people with COVID, lungs cannot even function properly, and then because when there is no oxygen properly, automatically your lungs will collapse. When there is no lungs at all, how the air can go inside? So there is a inflammatory process which is happening in every person's body. Naturally, every day it is happening. Your body is trying to remove that. For example, there's another very beautiful example I can give you is lead poisoning, heavy metal poisoning, which is happening day in and out. And when it is coming inside, there is an inflammation happening. When there is an inflammation, your body, like your liver and your kidneys, they try to catch the lead out and then throw it out. But how long can they go on throwing it out? But for that also, you need to have the right nutrition. You need to have the right food habits for the liver to even detox and throw out all the toxins. You need to have around 35 vitamins and minerals and trace elements, which is very, very important for it to clear it up. So if your nutrition is not proper, definitely inflammation is there automatically. So when inflammation is there, definitely the disease will not be under control. So in that way, the reason for inflammation, there are many factors. So you need to understand what is that factor and then start working on it. You have to work holistically. Now, just because today I'm talking about inflammation doesn't mean that overnight tomorrow you all start looking at, okay, fine, I'm going to take all the anti-inflammatory food. Yes, you can start taking it, but it will take at least 6 months to 1 year for you to even become healthier by consuming the right kind of food. So in that way, what happens is, just to give you a little bit of example, I'm showing you an artery here. Whenever there is an inflammation inside your artery vessels, we call it as plaques. When you go to a doctor, they will say you had a heart attack. Why is that? Because the blood flow is not able to go through these vessels. Now, over a period of time, because of the inflammation, the endothelial lining of our vessels and the cells, it creates inflammation. Now, when there is an inflammation, definitely your platelets will go there, your WBCs will go. These guys will go and then start attaching there, so that they want the inflammation to be prevented. So in the other side, can you see here, there is a lot of inflammation because of the oxidative stress. See, even the cell goes through a lot of stressful condition because of the environmental pollution, the environmental chemicals which is coming inside your body, the food what you eat. So many things are causing oxidative stress for your cell. Now you and I think, oh, only I have a lot of stress because of my job, because of whatever I'm doing. I'm going through a lot of stress. Stress because of the family, stress because of the children, stress because of the spouse. We think the stress is only outside. Your body also goes through a lot of stress. Inside every cell is also, they are also grumbling and telling why this fellow is drinking alcohol, why this fellow is smoking and then creating more problem for me. All this they'll be thinking. Even untimely food, when you eat also, your system will think, what this guy is eating this food at this juncture. I am supposed to rest here and this fellow is eating the food and putting me, and then he expects me to switch on the mixie and then work along. Now, your body only thing is it cannot come and speak to you and tell you, sir, please stop doing all this. It cannot tell. It will only change over to a disease, and then once disease sets in, you cannot do anything. So please understand that all this process of inflammation happening at the cellular level will take a very, very long time for you to find and recognize that there is a disease happening inside you. Now, nutrition plays a very, very important role. Yes, food plays a very, very important role. So in that way, I have my first priority. It's very easy and simple is proper hydration. Now this on the steroids platform here, much more easier for us to talk because hydration is something very, very easy with our terahertz resonated water. So proper hydration plays a very, very important role in reducing your inflammation. I think out there are a lot of beautiful souls down there whose skin diseases have come down, the inflammatory process have come down, aches and pains have come down after drinking Terras water. Now what happened just by drinking water? How is that there are a lot of goodness happening, a lot of disease situation coming down? Diabetes getting controlled, blood pressure getting controlled, their face becomes much more brighter, skin lesions are disappearing, wound healing is much better. All these are all happening how? Right? Because when hydration is right, your body is intelligent enough to clear everything and then start giving you the healing process. Healing happens only when it is in an alkaline body. If there is an acidic body, definitely healing won't happen. It will cause more problem. Acid always creates problem. Alkaline always assists you in the whatever the problem is. You can have an acidic situation or an alkaline situation. Alkaline situation is something like being calm. Acid situation is something like being angry. Being angry, you cannot achieve anything, but by being calm, you can achieve a lot of things. So when you are alkaline, a lot of things can be achieved. Good health can be achieved through alkalinity. But acidity, you will not be able to because acidity burns. Acidity creates more problem. Acidity gives a way for diseases. So in that way, proper hydration plays a very, very important role. Then what else? Next comes your nutrition. What kind of food are you eating? How much of vegetables are you eating? At least per day, you need to have three, like this fist size of 3 to 4 cups of vegetables and fruits you need to consume once in the morning, once at night time. Three different colored vegetables and fruits. How much are you having? Most of us are meat eaters, and then what happens? We just eat varieties of meat and varieties of colorful food. What we eat is all meat related. And what happens? Definitely one day you will start facing problem. Now, once you start facing problem, nobody can help you. Even the hospitals will only give you medication for you to consume, and maybe a little bit you can control your diseases. So please be careful. So I would request you 70% of your nutrition should be a vegetarian and fruit diet. 30% should be your non-vegetarian and other food, whatever you want to eat. It should be 30%. Now, why do I say this is, of course, if you're talking about 30, 40 years ago, it's still okay. You used to consume non-vegetarian, no problem, because we didn't have much of pollution outside. Our food was okay. We didn't have much of stressful lifestyle. We didn't have our mobile phones, which actually mobile radiation is another major issue we are all facing. All these were not there 50 years ago. That's why our ancestors, even though they were eating all non-vegetarian and all, they were still able to handle and just pass their life much more healthier. They lived little longer than you and me. For us, crossing 30, 40 years itself is a big, it's a big challenge what we are going through. So nutrition plays a very, very important role. Then comes back to your proper cleansing of inside and outside. What do I mean is, of course, cleansing outside is your bathing. Now, bathing also, I would say, once in a while you need to go to the natural resources, like maybe a waterfall, maybe a river where there is a clean water. Go and take a shower, maybe in an oasis. Have a shower there, and then of course you need to uh, have all these facilities for you for cleaning outside. Now coming back to the cleansing of inside. Cleansing of inside is by proper drinking water, then consuming lot of alkaline juices, tender coconut. All this will actually cleanse your kidneys, cleanse your intestines, and cleanse your liver. Now, one of the inner easiest way of cleansing is also when you consume yogurt. Yogurt is a very good probiotic, and that also will assist you in your gut health. So looking for yogurt regularly. But very important is, are you buying a ready-made yogurt or are you preparing a yogurt at home? If you can prepare yogurt at home, nothing like that. It is the best. But if you are buying outside, no choice. Of course, they use a lot of additives. You will pay the penalty in a later date, but still something is better than nothing. You can consume it, but I would say not for a very, very long time. Then comes your regular exercise. Are you an ardent regular exercise goer? Are you? If not, you better buck up. Especially youngsters, start going in for regular exercise. You can do yoga, you can go for a gym. All this fine, no problem. But you have to allocate 30 to 45 minutes to 1 hour every day for you to have a proper exercise. Then proper breathing plays a very important role, because most of us are doing shallow breathing. This is a this is another very, very important area where many of us don't even bother to look into it, because Breathing is automatic. Your breath, your lungs will take in the air and leave out. It is an automatic phenomenon. So we don't find it difficult. But whenever patient comes in and whenever I ask them to use, especially if you want to see this is something like breathing apparatus which I'm showing you right now here. This is something I test the patient's breathing capacity. Can you believe most of them they can't even suck the air of around 600 to 800 cc of air inside. That is their lung capacity. But actually it should be around 2500 to 3000. That should be a lung capacity. Now why is that? Because we never practice it. Now any exercise, if you don't do it regularly, how your muscle will all build up? Your muscle will not build up. The same way, if you do not do consciously your breathing and expand your lungs, hold the breath and then leave the breath consciously, definitely your lungs will not be able to expand and contract. And one fine day when you're having a problem in a hospital and the doctor will put you in an ICU, put you some tubes inside your nose and intubate you, put on a ventilator. Of course, the machine will push in air, push out air, all fine. But after that, for you to recover will be very, very difficult. And today I can tell you a lot of people died because of COVID because their lungs were not healthy. The lungs were not healthy. The lungs didn't have the proper reserve. So please look into the proper breathing habit. Then proper rest is very, very important. What time do you sleep? And what time do you get up? So now here I am not going to tell you what time you need to, how many hours. You all know what time you should, because where you work and you are working for your own benefit. So you need to know plan. You need to plan out at what time you want to sleep, what time you want to get up, and how do you want to travel. All this is under your headache, and you all have to decide what is good for you. But definitely you need proper rest, proper sleeping, then proper thinking. Being optimistic is always very beautiful, but being pessimistic is always not a very good solution. But being positive, being wise in your decision making, and being a learner in your life, you will be able to move forward in your life very easily. And stop blaming God, stop blaming anybody else in life, telling that because of them only my life is suffering. Actually, nobody suffers because of anybody else. It's because of your own mindset. It's because of your own pitfalls. It's own you dig your own grave, and then finally you start blaming others. So stop blaming anybody else. If at all, if your life is a screwed on life today, it's because of your own ignorance, it's your own innocence, it is because of you. But today is a day. Why not we change? Let's change to become a better human being, because we are the human beings wherein we can become much more wiser, we can become much more clearer in what we decide. So making proper clear decision, you need to have proper thinking. Then you need proper supportive system. What do I mean by support system is, of course, in today's business world, we have a lot of gadgets and there's a lot of stress involved in it. So you need to know which are naturally, which can help you to move forward, which are the products which you need to reduce using, and then you need to move forward. So you need to have a proper disciplined lifestyle, which is very, very important. So all these, when you start doing it properly, let me tell you, your inflammation can be brought down. Now, how do you know your body is acidic? I have a machine, I can show you. Can you see here the pH of this one is 3.101. That means it's in the red color here, the lower one pH. That means this particular person is body is acidic. Now, can you see the second one, hypoxia? That means his oxygen level inside his body is less. But of course, when you put your pulse oximeter and it will say 99% oxygen is there. Now, do you think 99% oxygen is good enough that what your pulse oximeter? It is only a methodology where we can actually assess you just instantly. But in reality, if you look at the cellular level, definitely we all have hypoxia. Why? Because we don't breathe properly. Now, can you see the water shortage here? This particular person has got a water shortage. How do you know? Of course, this is how the machine will exactly tell you, do you have a hydration or not. Now, this is where I have a machine wherein we can actually pick up the lot of signs and symptoms which is presenting in your body, including the inflammation. We pick it up and then we start working on it. The only challenge I am facing is it takes at least nothing less than 6 months to 1 year for me to correct the basic requirements for that particular body and then give a good health. It takes 3 to 6 months minimum. Now, most of the patients or most of the clients don't have the patience to even go through that journey until 3 to 6 months. Halfway, they will all fall off. Now, at the end of the day, it is you have to work on it and you have to move forward. So what is happening is whenever there is an acidic situation, acidic pH, and if it is for a very very long time, what happens, your blood becomes more thicker, and the lesser the flow to your, the blood flow will be less to your cellular level. Automatically oxygen is less, nutrition is less, and there will be difficulty in removal of your waste product. So it is like a sludge going in but cannot move forward. That is why when you go to a doctor, the doctor will say your blood is very thick and I have to put you on a blood thinner. So blood thinner, why do we put? Because at least the blood can flow much more easily. Now, when the water is less inside your cell, what happens? Dehydration happens in your cell. Automatically, there is some metabolic disturbances happening at your cell level, and automatically you will start getting inflammation and diseases. It's an automatic process. Now, when your acidic pH is there, I can definitely tell you, you will have a high uric acid. If you have high uric acid, of course, there are many issues ranging from body pains to joint pain and rheumatoid arthritis. A lot of joint issues are there because of the uric acid being high. Now, uric acid, one of the reasons when you eat a lot of kachang groundnuts and when you eat a lot of red meat, definitely your uric acid will be high, very high. But there are a lot of vegetarians also where they don't take non-vegetarian, but their uric acid is very high. Now, why is that? Because the water they drink is much less and they will be consuming a lot of lentils. If you consume a lot of lentils also, your uric acid will be very high. And if you're consuming coffee, very very important, if you're consuming coffee also, you should check your uric acid levels regularly, because you may have a little high uric acid when you're drinking coffee. That is where you see, especially when you go to our Giant or Tesco, you can see decaffeinated coffee powders are available. Now, why do they say decaffeinated? Is basically they remove the acidic portion of that particular coffee, and that in turn will give you a better healthy drink, especially when it is a decaffeinated coffee. Now, can you see the drought here? Is something totally devastating where you cannot grow a single crop in that. Now, when this is the situation of a drought where there is no rain, the same way you have to just imagine yourself that if your cells are created with a drought like situation where you don't drink water, what happens? What happens? Automatically there will be disease setting in, and then what happens? The moment you get a disease, what you will do? Automatically will go to a hospital. Automatically the hospital will do all the blood investigation. Then finally what happens? They will pick up some disease for you. 100%. There will be a disease waiting for you to be named. The moment the disease is labeled, finished. After that, you will just go on working on that particular disease and move forward. But basically, what happened? You didn't drink sufficient amount of water regularly. That's it. That is the simplest situation which you have created. Now, of course, as I told you, there are almost 8 to 9 different factors other than drinking water. You need to look into is basically your nutrition, all those steps I already told you. So what happens is, if you can drink water sufficiently, can solve many situations inside your body. So what's your problem in drinking water? There is no problem, isn't it? At least drink sufficient amount of water. Because most of the time when my patient, when I ask them, are you drinking at least 2 liters to 3? No, doctor, 1 liter, 1.5 liter. Yeah, when your kidney gets screwed up totally, and then when your kidney gets totally conked up, and then when the doctor says, hey, your creatinine level very high, now you should go for dialysis. That's when your eyes will open like a pop-up, popcorn open up, and then you will start looking for solutions. Don't do that. Your kidney is a very, very special organ in God's gift. So don't screw it up by lack of drinking water. And stress also plays a very, very important role in screwing up your kidney. In fact, according to Chinese traditional, this one, your anger, it affects your liver. Your anger definitely affects your kidneys. But if you see, definitely people who are having a little bit of kidney issue will have blood pressure also. Why is that? They'll become very angry. All this will see. It's everything is interlinked actually. So you need to understand that it's a beautiful journey God has given you. You have to work on it. You have to work for it. Nothing will be free and nothing is easy. What you do today, you have to do today. You cannot postpone it for tomorrow. But what you want to do tomorrow, you cannot do today. But what you have to do today, you have to do today, because that tomorrow what you're going to do will be created what you do today. This is what is you need to understand. So why should you drink adequate amount of water? It's very simple. Good hydration, proper metabolic function, detoxification, transport of oxygen, picking up of nutrients from the food we eat, proper bowel movements, kidney function. All these are there because you are able to drink sufficient amount of water. Now, ideal drinking of water. This is in general I'm speaking. It should be drinkable. That is the first thing. Any water which should be drinkable should have this basic properties. pH of around 7.5 to 8. Total dissolved contents in the water must be between 50 to 200. And the ORP, if it is minus 0 to 200, is very good. If it is plus, is acidic. Okay, very important. Now ORP, when it is minus, is good for you. If it is plus, not good for you. The same way, a television emits a lot of positive ions, not good for you. A mobile phone, Wi-Fi emits a lot of positive ions, not good for you. We need negative ions. So how does a negative ion come in? When you have a lot of plants, when you have the Himalayan crystal salt lamp, when you go near a water fountain, when you go in nature, especially when you go to a waterfall area, there is minus 10,000 ions available there, minus. So that means you go there, you fully get rejuvenated. So this is very important. Which plus is most of the times, plus is not good for you, right? But a bank balance of plus is good for you, isn't it? That is for the materialistic world. You have a lot of bank balance, 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 1000. It's good for you, of course. In journey of life, minus of money, no good for you. So there are a lot of balances you need to understand and then handle your journey of life. And all the water, whatever you drink, must be clear from bacteria, viruses, and parasites. And it should not contain heavy metals, toxic metals, chemicals, and pesticides. Very important. Now, of course, in today's world, there are a lot of good things happening in this world. So we have something called resonated water. Now, resonated water, there are a lot of ambient technology, ozone technology. We can use music for, resonating the water. Chanting can be used, and you can, pass the water through a pipe full of pebbles. Automatically, the water get, what is that? It will get resonate. It is basically, structured water. We call this as structured water. Now, for us to make a structured water, the Terahertz company came out with this technology called Terahertz resonating device. Now, this is a much more easier technique, because when you talk about Emret or other technologies, we used to use a machine for almost 30 minutes, and that is how we resonate them, and then the water gets resonated, and then definitely there were good qualities created by that water. But with our Terahertz, what happened was it's much more easier, because it's just 3 minutes. You resonate it, it is definitely a good structured water. But if you can resonate it 2 to 3 times, definitely more, around 2 to 3 times is definitely much better, because the stability of the water is much more. So that is how the terahertz technology has made things much more easy for every one of us. And of course, it's a new way of structured water, which is much more stable. It can be boiled, and it can be done in 3 minutes, and you can carry it anywhere, portable, use a power bank to use it. Then what are the benefits of drinking a resonated water? Is your healthy cells are becoming much more healthy, absorption is much more healthy, hydration is much more better, control of a disease, control of inflammation. So I come back to the inflammation. So when you drink Terra's resonated water, definitely the inflammation process will come down. If you want, you can just give it a try. Whenever you have mild fever of around 38 degrees, just drink the Terra's water and see how inflammation will come down. And especially after an injury, anywhere, you spray the Terahertz water in that particular area, definitely there will be a lot of good benefit. I think such of those who all know about terahertz blower. Terahertz blower also is another wonderful instrument. Wherever there is aches and pains, when you put the blower, terahertz blower to that particular area, within the next 15 minutes, you can see that the pain comes down. So we have a water technology, we have a blower technology. So multiple ways of helping ourselves and then making our body a much more healthier. So there are a lot of detox mechanism happening because of the resonated water. So you need to look at illness to wellness. Very, very beautiful. Then the cells are highly energetic. This is very, very important. Whenever you drink terahertz water, you will see that you will have a very high energy. Now, of course, there are certain times you need to be a little careful, because when you're talking about resonated water, it's a high energy, number one. Number two, it is definitely a structured water, and all the while you are drinking a non-structured water, a bigger molecule. So whenever you're drinking a structured water, you need to understand, start with a lower dose and then you can start increasing it. And of course, people with aura issues, what I mean is, when your energy levels around your aura around you is very low, definitely your mindset also will be very confused. You will be in a highly stressful condition, stressful situation. And they also, whenever they drink this water, sometimes they cannot see the benefit. This is what I see people with low frequency. When they drink the water, they will sometimes, I don't say that if you're giving 100 people, maybe 2 to 3 people may not feel the difference, but most of them, even if you're in a low energy, when you drink the terrace water, you will feel much, much better. And here, very beautiful, I think most of you know that there are a lot of beautiful properties. And especially when you're talking to people, you can ask them if they water they are drinking, if they have all these qualities, definitely they can continue drinking that water. If they don't have, then you can recommend them and tell them, like, okay, fine, why not you drink the terahertz water? Try to, what is that? Let them drink and see. Let them experiment and see. So there are a lot of good benefits by drinking the terahertz resonated. The 12 properties are there. Look into it. Now, good news, everybody should try drinking the Garazet. You should start off with 250 ml to 500 ml, increase it to 2 liters. Take your time, 1 to 2 months, and then, of course, there will be some good benefits you will see in a little long run. But some people you can see immediately, some people maybe after 3 weeks. So, if at all, if anybody new person is coming and trying to drink the water, tell them that it will take minimum 2 to 3 weeks for them to really see some difference. But there are some people, like yesterday I had one person who is 69 years old. He was telling me, doctor, this particular water you give me is very tasty, doctor. I love it, drinking the water. But other than that, if you see, he's been drinking this water for almost 6 months. And the good benefits are, this beautiful soul has been on insulin and he's a diabetic, and he has been on medication. After coming and seeing me, after giving this terrace water, of course, I've been correcting his glucose level. Today, I have stopped his insulin. He's not taking insulin. It's almost 1 month now. And I have reduced the medicines. And of course, we need to give a lot of right nutrition to him. And then now he's very healthy. Now, this is where every one of you should understand that drinking water is one part of it. Taking a proper nutrition is also the second part. You need to work on it. So what is the tips for reducing the inflammation? Very, very simple. It is not a, I would say everybody can follow this. Number one, regular exercise. Whether you like it or not, go for regular exercise. Every day, fix a time, go for it. Reduction in meat and meat related products. You have to reduce it. Dairy products, especially if you're 50 years above, please reduce the dairy products. Canned food has to be reduced. Frozen food. Now it has become a fashion, you just put it in the freezer and then take it out and then, you cook it and eat. Actually, what we are eating is actually totally a dead food. It is not fresh. Nothing like eating a fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, freshly cooked food is something very beautiful. And today, with the food pandas, grab food, all these, I think, because of our job, we are not able to cook on our own. But still, I would request you, if there is a possibility for you to cook and eat, please do consider. It will be a good option. And then, of course, the control of sugar and blood pressure plays a very, very important in reducing the inflammation. But Very important. As I told you, a person can have a normal sugar level, but later on he has a complication. Why? Because there is a subclinical inflammation happening because of deficiency of number one. It can be because of omega-3. It can be because of zinc deficiency. It can be because of vitamin D3 deficiency. It can be because of acidic food. All these are all factors which can cause a subclinical inflammation, and then you will face problems. So you need to understand to balance everything. Then daily routine habit of drinking sufficient of water is very, very important. Alkaline based food is also very, very important. Then less saturated and fatty food has to be looked into it. And then of course you need to do meditation for you to calm down yourself. And proper breathing technique is another very, very important. And stress free lifestyle is very, very important, because out there every one of you will say, doctor, we cannot live without stress. Everybody will have stress. I do agree with you, but as a human being, you should understand that we should be able to handle stress much more easily than any animals under the sun. So you should know what to take in, what not to take in. Stress will come only when you take things which is beyond your control, and then you total try to handle everything. You cannot be jack of all, and then finally you can't be, handling everything. You need to designate certain things. Even if it is a family, you need to designate certain things. Your wife has to do certain things, husband has certain things, your children has to do. Like this, you need to designate. That is when life becomes much more easier. So finally, what is that I would like to let you know is, you need to prevent inflammation happening inside your body. Start from today. Whatever needs to be taken, take those steps and then start working on it. And of course, beautiful life is all about, you should inspire. You should be an inspiration for others. Very important. And you don't be in desperation, please. Even if you want to become healthy, don't be desperate to become healthy, but you inspire yourself and start working on how to become healthy and work on the road to healthy. Now life is all about inspire, and it ends when we expire. It's automatic, finish. Once and for all, we go off. So what does inspire means? In is inside. So what you need to do, inspire, is basically you should inspire your soul, your spirit, and your spiritual path. You need to work on it. So this is where we all are working until the day we expire. That means from planet Earth we go away. Until then, let's be an inspiration to every soul, and we work a very, very beautiful journey of life. We be happy. We send a lot of love vibration to everybody under the sun, and terahertz is a wonderful platform for all of us. We all gather here. Invite more people. See, every time I see around 150 people to 180 people, you need to increase the number. See, here you're not paying anything. Let me tell you, out there are a lot of people who are charging left and right, and people proudly go and pay the money there to listen to the doctor speaking there. But here our terahertz platform has given you a wonderful platform. So what's wrong in inviting people? You need to invite more people. Just let them come and listen. Let them learn something new. I think in this whole 1 hour, what I've spoken, I think you all would have picked up at least one point. Forget about many points. One point which would change your day of life. That is good enough for me. That is a very, very beautiful journey. So saying this, thank you very much. Thank you, Brian, and may all your journey be peaceful, harmonious, joyful, full of contentment. And I look forward to see you again with a new topic. Thank you, Brian, and see you next week.